Hello. Right, so I just wanted to give a quick update just on the overwhelming number of persecution stories that I get and read. So basically, uh, yeah, the slaughter of Christians in Nigeria since 2009, as of 6 months ago, was 32,000. I just think that's an outrageous number. I just can't believe that that's going on in the world and everybody isn't screaming about it. So from January 2020 to mid-May of this same year, at least 620 Nigerians were slaughtered. Again, 32,000 since 2009. That's just ridiculous. And that's just the country's main jihadists who do that. And Solidarity International have issued a genocide warning for that country alone because it's really just outrageous now. So I'm gonna move my camera so I can see my screen, and then I'm just gonna reel off some stuff. And if you've got any comments or questions, you're right, what's happening? Then yeah, I just listen to this pile of nonsense. Really, it's just outrageous. Okay, so Christian Solidarity International issued a genocide warning for Christians in Nigeria in response to the rising tide of violence directed against Nigerian Christians and others who are classified as infidels. Wait for it, infidels. Ah, anyway, so all right, separately, Muslims have been murdered like just individually rather than rolling into town and setting fire, macheting, dismembering, raping, the usual MO. Attacks on Christian churches, cemeteries, and crosses, and this is not restricted to Nigeria. If you look at a map of France, which I will have to include a link to eventually, it's just outrageous. The whole country is covered in these red dots. So in Greece, Muslim migrants ransacked and transformed a church into a toilet, basically. It says here the public restroom was once the St. Catherine Church in Moria, a small town on the island of Lesvos, which has been now flooded with migrants who arrived via Turkey. Sorry about the live stream. The church had been attacked previously, basically, and that's pretty common now. And in Turkey, the situation is only worsening for Christians. As we know, churches are being converted into mosques or museums or just basically left in disrepair. In Pakistan, armed Muslim mobs shouting anti-Christian slogans attacked and tried to set fire to the Trinity Pentecostal Church in Hakimpura. I'm not going to give the details of much of these. It says here, separately, Muslim land grabbers seized, desecrated and ploughed over the graves of a century-old Christian cemetery. That's just outrageous. Serbia, Muslim migrants entered the St. Alexander Nevsky Church in Belgrade during a service and robbed several of the mostly elderly congregants. What else have we got? Egypt. This is in May. 2 days before Trump recognised Global Coptic Day, Egyptian authorities demolished the only Coptic church in Al Farag, sorry about my pronunciation, even though it had been there for 15 years and served 3,000 Christians. So I'm just going to turn on my comment thingy. Oh no, it's still just man like H. Anyway, what else has been going on? Mozambique. Mozambique. Like, just too much. So I'm going to focus now back again on Nigeria because it just seems to me that it's escalated there since I started reporting on it, which is like months ago now. But yeah, so it says here, Nigeria buries 43 farmers killed by militants and dozens are missing, mostly women, I would add. And we know that that's not a good sign. So in, again, sorry for my pronunciation, Zabamari in Nigeria, villagers in northeast Nigeria's Borno state on Sunday buried 43 farmers killed in an attack by suspected, I think that's heavy suspicion, Islamic militants, while security forces searched for dozens who are still missing. Around 30 of the men were beheaded in the attack, which began on Saturday in the village of Zabamari, while residents said that 70 people all in all are feared dead. if you've got any comments on any of this, please do share them, because otherwise I'll just start in the afternoon. But I just don't know if I make standalone videos about each story, it's basically going to populate my timeline. So I just thought I'd have a quick chat. If you want to change the subject or talk about something else, or ways to combat this, I think I'm going to do a video with Rob Christian this evening or tomorrow evening, depending on his schedule. The UN estimated that at least 110 people were killed across the, can't pronounce it, JERE local government area of Borno State. Hello, Jesus is my Lord. Great name, by the way. Yeah, Rob is pretty good. So, I mean, I could just let's get some more stories. Christian leaders are concerned by growing anti-Christian violence in central India. Vietnam forces an evangelical church to cancel their congress. Concerns are raised over Armenian prisoners of war. As we know, Armenia has got a higher percentage of Christians, very high, very encouraging. Pakistan's Prime Minister orders an investigation into reports of forced conversion. So if that's a genuine investigation, of course, that's welcomed. But I'm afraid it's not. It says here that the okay, let's read this one. Indonesia. It's just every single day my inbox is just full up and I just never know where to start. So, Indonesian government whitewashes Islamist terror attack on Christians, is what I read from persecution.org, which is International Christian Concern. You can actually get involved with them. You can volunteer. Thank you, by Grace Through Faith. You can volunteer with them. You can publicize their videos. You can publicize my videos. You can share the link. You can You can, Patreon you can do. You can, I don't know. You can just do something. Prayer is the first thing. First things first. Prayer is preferred to all of that stuff. But the volunteering, I'm sure they would be very grateful of it. So, a week after the November 27th terrorist attack on the Salvation Army's service post in central Sulawesi, the Indonesian government has dispatched special forces to hunt down the Eastern Indonesia Mujahideen terrorists responsible. But President Widodo's administration continues to deny that the killing was religiously motivated. If it wasn't, there's a miracle right there. So that would be religious in that respect. On November 30th, the president expressed, sorry about that, he failed to specifically mention the killing of 4 Christians or the radical Islamists who killed them. His security forces have also repeatedly stressed that the attack was not religiously motivated. How could you possibly know that? How could you know whether or not it was religiously motivated if you have yet to speak to the perpetrators or listen to any witness statements of any slogans? He said that the attack was not religiously motivated because, you'll love this one, no church was burned. Wow, the criteria. And the coordinating minister for political, legal and security affairs, who is Mahfoud MD, also came out to say the murders were not related to religion. They're all psychic. They're all CSI Miami over there. Just one glance at the story and they're absolutely convinced. I just don't know why. So it says here, for many years, Indonesian Christians have suffered from discrimination at the hands of their own government. Shalom. And it's impossible for churches to obtain building permits. So as with other Sharia adherent countries, even though the Dhimmi Jude kind of guidelines allow for churches, if they fall into disrepair, you're unable to repair them. So it's either a waiting game or they're vandalized. And like I said, France is pretty hot on the church vandalization front at the moment. So the Salvation Army confirmed in its press release that its service post, in brackets, church and residents' homes in Lawanu, Lembantongoa, were torched. So the guy says, we know it's not religiously motivated, ran far, because there's no church burning, and yet the Sali Army are saying, yeah, there is. So, yeah, I definitely would like to pray, not only for everyone, but specifically for Christians, more specifically for persecuted Christians, because when one suffers, we all suffer. And it's now at an astonishing rate. So it's hundreds, I think it's, I may be underestimating this, but I think every 6 minutes a Christian is murdered. Not for just you know, just the like general murder, as it were, but 4 being a Christian, every 6 minutes. So that's 10 an hour. That's obviously 240. One every 6 minutes is, yeah, 10. And yeah, I was right in the first place. All right, Carol Vorderman has nothing to fear from me. Yeah, I just don't even want to go on reading it. It's too much. I'm happy to say that David Wood seems to have like started concentrating on persecution, for which I'm so very grateful, because he obviously has a much wider reach. I'm going to speak to anyone who will listen and everybody. There are campaigns of petitioning and letter writing and pressuring that are, oh, I don't know what you'd call it, that are coordinated, I guess, by persecution.org. Please do look at the tab is Take Action, and that's www.persecution.org. They've also got news and reports, but you can find all of the news and reports on SOCO Discord server, and the link is in any of the latest SOCO films description box, and also in my description box for any of my recent videos. If you click there, if you're a SOCO YouTube member, then you can see those folders. Otherwise, I just bring out the most horrific, really, and post them for the free part of Discord. But Rankful will tell you it's worth attending. Also, there are lectures on Discord by this person. We're currently looking at a psychological analysis of Muhammad. Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. And yesterday we had an Orthodox and a Protestant having a little friendly debate, which was also enlightening, I think, to say the least. Yeah, so on the persecution front, it's not looking good. I think that persecution in, I don't know if it's all of Africa or just Nigeria, has raised by something like 80% the frequency of the attacks and the numbers involved. Some Muslims have also been killed by Muslim militants recently. Boko Haram and ISWAP do not have an exclusively Christian body count. They have around 30 to 40% of their victims are Muslims of some description. Yeah, so there's that. Speakers Corner news. The park is reopened as of this week. There's also a 6 people bubble thingy, so that should be interesting. But yeah, I don't really know what to chat about unless you've got any questions or comments. I mean, it's pretty depressing stuff. I don't know where to go with it, but I know I have to get it off of my heart, as it were. I just keep praying. There's nothing else to do really other than the practical side of things. Sorry, I don't know why my signal's so poor. But especially for the children who live in these regions, that was one of the first images I saw that confirmed to me that God had chosen for me persecution to speak about, and he laid it on me heavily, like heavily. But this one image of a little African girl with a machete hanging out of her head has just stayed with me, and I can't do anything. I don't want to lodge it because God laid it on me, as it were. But it's ongoing, and to be a child, like especially near Christmas time, I don't know why that matters, but like other children are lucky enough to be safe and warm and like well fed and not in fear of their lives or their villages being burned down. And in the West, partly due to ignorance, but mostly fueled by the fact that the mainstream doesn't tell anybody. Yeah, we could all be doing something. Britain has actually stopped giving financial aid to Nigeria because of the persecution of Christians, which I was very surprised about. If they followed through with that, that's excellent. But then genuine people will suffer because of the lack of financial aid that we provide them. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts. But God is sovereign, obviously, spoiler alert if you're not Christian. And he's got it all in hand, but I just don't know where he's going with it. I know that we are to be persecuted. That's what Christ says. If you do, then you will be persecuted. He says, hi, John. Nice to see you. So Mozambique as well. Yeah, let's find a little story on Mozambique, because oddly, it's not on persecution.org, which is kind of strange, unless it wasn't exclusively Christian victim. I don't know about that. I saw David had a video up, but I haven't got around to watching it yet because I'm just kind of overwhelmed by all of this stuff. Let's find. So Indonesia at the moment, Nigeria Nigeria is so bad, people. So bad. Like, I just don't know what to, I don't know how to make people realise that it just breaks my heart every time. Every time. And I find that people react more strongly, I guess, the same way that I did to individual stories. I don't even know the little girl's name with the machete. Like, I know her mother had been 22 years old. She was studying in a church and she was gang raped and beaten to death. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Right, so Mozambique. Here we go, peeps. Militants kill at least 25 in northern Mozambique ambush. So militants in Mozambique killed 24 soldiers. That's why it's not on persecution.org, FYI. Let me make it bigger because I do have my glasses. Oh my gosh. Get on this sort of organisational level. Right. Militants in Mozambique killed 24 soldiers in an ambush attack, military sources told AFP. A significant show of force against the military struggle to quell an insurgency in the north. What's all this? Right. A shadowy group has wreaked havoc in the northern Cabo Delgado region since 2017, targeting villages and towns. So basically, there's some sort of military coup. Also in Ethiopia, militants, or the actual military actually, have taken control of the capital city. I don't really know much about the politics in Ethiopia, although I do know that as of August, 500 Christians were murdered in Ethiopia just within a 2-month window or period, and that would have seen them outstrip Nigeria in terms of frequency and body counts if it had continued at that rate. But Nigeria seems to be top of the leaderboard, and that's discounting the atheist, godless countries that are always at the top, like China, North Korea. Who knows what goes on in China? I don't even think that, like, basically, Muslims are in internment camps, Christians are petrol bombed out of their churches, Xi Jinping pictures are forced onto the walls. An actual mothers' meeting, like an actual one, was raided. It's not funny. It was raided by Chinese officials. Yeah, that's how paranoid and insecure they are about the truth being told about Jesus. So 50 beheaded in Mozambique. I mean, yeah, well, ethnic related stuff, Soul Assassin, is Boko Haram are ethnically motivated, or not ethnically, but tribally motivated. And Boko Haram is the nickname of the tribe. And I don't know if you've ever heard, my stream keeps going, sorry. They don't see themselves as exclusively African or Nigerian. They see themselves as their tribe. So anyone who's outside of that is fair game for whatever nonsense they're justifying currently, which tends to be crucifixions and like anti-Christian stuff, beheadings, macheteings. So let's get back to my Ibrahim report. Algeria, right, Algeria churches have also been desecrated. Iran, a Christian cemetery, has been set ablaze. France, unknown vandals cut down an iconic iron cross that stood at the summit of, yes, I don't want to pronounce your name, Frère, you. But yeah, I said that at the top. Of the 32,000 Nigerians who have been murdered since 2009, let's get back to the top of the report. I think at least tens of people in this latest murder of the 43 farmers. Yeah, they're mainly women who have been stolen. I'm so sorry about the pronunciation. I do. Yeah, I just confess that in my brain it sounds like Freyok, and then I don't even do it in my head. I just, every time I have to reply to you when I'm moderating, I'm like, I have to keep going back and checking the spelling because it just doesn't sit in my brain, weirdly, on my phone. So apologies for that. Right, so back at the ranch. Right, we've gone from attacks on Christians, Christian churches, cemeteries and crosses. Let's get down to the next section. What could it be? I'm guessing it's not puppies and kittens. It's going to be, abduction, rape and forced conversions. Oh, how could I forget? So we know that India is now, Pakistan, the government or the president has ordered some sort of investigation. Hopefully that's not just like in name only. But Nigeria, between March and April, so this is in a 37-day window from March 23rd to April 30th this year, 6 young Christian girls and 1 older married woman was kidnapped. So that's just, like I say, in just over a month. Right, back again. So that's that. So 6 in 37 days in Nigeria. So if you extrapolate that out, even at like 1 for every one of those periods, that's quite a few. Pakistan. Actually, I read something that on the MSN. Wow, only because I choose Christian persecution for my timeline, as it were. But I think that now they've been ordered to search for, I don't know if it's Myra or if it's the other young girl, not to do her a favour, basically. They've been ordered to seek her out for some sort of punishment. So let's find my Christian persecution stuff. Okay, let's see. I don't know what Black Friday has got to do with anything. Right, now let's find out. I can't see it off the top of my head, but definitely Pakistan. I read that that they were out looking for one of those 14-year-old girls. I can't find it. What I can tell you is that once I accept the cookies, obviously that's very important, as Father Christmas will tell you. Right. It says just I've never read this, this, what do you call it, news source, but events in the past few months have compelled a rethink of the link between religion and human rights. Protests across the Muslim world over the republication of the cartoons of Prophet Muhammad and the attendant bloodletting in France have underscored the mortal threat, it says here, of Islamic extremism. And this is from Ghana Web. It's particularly worrying that at one of the protests in Pakistan, a Muslim cleric shouted, "There is only one punishment for blasphemy," and others chorused, "Beheading, beheading." Of note is the outrageous statement by the Egyptian president, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, that freedom of expression stops when Muslims are offended. Can you believe this crap? Excuse my French, but not if you're French, obviously. One wonders if the statement is not another instance of a misplaced sense of entitlement or an exercise in religious conceit. The torture and abuse of people accused of witchcraft in African countries are constant reminders of the extent that human beings could and irrational sentiments. In discussing a key topic like this, views and perspectives are likely to be taken out of context and could be judged as racist or, you'll love this one, Islamophobic, and weaponized by like radical left and right wings of like politics within Europe. And it says here, so it's important to clarify that this presentation draws from a Nigerian African context. I'll try and drop the link to this because it's quite a lengthy article. So basically, it's a mess. Jesus says it will happen. So I'm confident that it's all going how it should go. And the Bible goes further than that. It says, basically it's saying, if you are a true believer, you will be persecuted. That's not to say you need to look out for instances where, I don't know, someone pushes in the queue in Tesco's or something. But it will happen, like you will be hated. But if it's for Jesus' sake, then like it's a small price to pay because obviously he's big in the game. Love Jesus. Love him. So, kind of running out of things to say, unless you want to ask me any questions. I think that the Western inaction to the constant genocidal persecution of Christians, I think in part could be traced back to some sort of post-colonial guilt, that kind of thing. Also, if they could use it as a deflection or a distraction from their own corrupt practices, for sure it would be all over the news. But I think the narrative at the moment, at least, it will change. It will just roll around to something else as the news cycle does. but the overarching narrative is Islamophobia and racism are the be all and end all. Christophobia is not even really a word. I mean, like it is, but I wouldn't want people screeching that as in with this victim like Olympic stuff, because I don't think that's the point at all. I think that you know that you have the truth, and the truth will be hated, but the truth will set you free. So it's like there's a dichotomy really. You're set free eternally, but your life here will most probably or most definitely become harder as a result of your conviction by the Holy Spirit. So swings and roundabouts, but eternity. I think within a couple of minutes I'm going to sign off. Al Qaeda in Africa. Okay, so an Algerian leader, Isaac tells me. Yeah, where are we? So Al Qaeda. Okay, so in Lebanon at the moment, in Beirut, I've got a friend there, and they have ISIS and Hezbollah at the same time, which is no joke for Christians. Even though they're kind of concentrating on persecuting each other, as it were, they're still caught in the crossfire and they're still in the middle and they're still being mistreated and discriminated against. So please do pray for Beirut and Lebanon as a whole, with their kind of puppet government. They have to run everything past Hezbollah. But not to worry, because the London mayor is happy to allow Hezbollah to march through the streets of London, even though they're a prescribed terrorist organisation. Like, you can see him justifying that or obfuscating and avoiding the question on YouTube at your leisure. Yeah, so I kind of on that bombshell moment, really. Christian persecution is a real thing. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. It's not this kind of Marxist, what do you call it, like intersectionality, victim points thing that I'm trying to highlight. I'm trying to highlight that as Christians, which hopefully people watching this are. If you're not, please do contact me if you have any questions. Come on Discord, etc. Yeah, it's not about victim points or oppression points. It's about the prayer that we need in order to affect change in these countries, and then the subsequent action, which prayer is for sure an action, but the physical stuff that you can do. And it might just involve writing letters, it might involve sharing petitions, it might involve like donating small amounts of money, but please don't feel pressured to do that. Or I don't know, sending books for Christmas, Bible. I don't know what it might involve, but it may just be as simple as like computer admin stuff and publicizing. Jesus has got this, and he does know all things. How and definitely God knows our prayers before we utter them. But when we have them on our lips and in our hearts, the Holy Spirit, I believe, is more able to focus your thoughts on his will and what you can do to affect the suffering of all Christians, as we all suffer when one suffers, as Paul says. So Paul is, how did we help you when you were in prison? How did we feed you when you were hungry? It didn't happen. And he says, when you did this to the least of any of mine, you know, you've done it to me. And at the same time, then when we are hateful towards other Christians, when we condemn them and judge them and start getting really like antsy about denominational stuff, we're doing the same thing to Jesus again. We're re-crucifying him. He's already died for any sins other than blasphemy of the Spirit that we have committed. So let's all just try, not in a Disney way, but let's all just get on. Yes, everybody does have a part to play in the body of Christ. And as Paul says as well, there's no good the eye saying to the ear, you're not needed anymore. Like, how will you hear anything? Each of us has got different talents, and therefore Ephesians is right when it says to some he gave to be apostles and teachers and disciples and, you know, all of that stuff. So we've all got a very separate function, but we all must or should work in harmony. Otherwise, we're making a mockery of our privilege, because we are privileged to be persecuted even for Christ, because he was persecuted for no good reason whatsoever, other than that it's foretold and it needed to happen. But he was sinless, and he took the spitting, the insults, the, you know, the stabbing, the crucifixion, and all we've got to do is unify and get on board and take the specks out of our own eyes and just like start helping each other. We're dying in the hundreds every day, and we're arguing about Nicaea. Like, I can't be bothered. I can be bothered because I like arguing, but I'd rather be arguing tearing down false arguments and every lofty opinion that sets it up against the true knowledge of God. That's just me. But anyway, thank you for listening to me ranting. Please do come to Discord again. I know I keep bunnying on about it, but I'd love to see you there because I do pop in there like all the time, really. And if you can, find the link. It's in SOCO and my description box of my last like published video. Just go along, click it. It's all free. Just come on board. If you are already a paid SOCO member, though, do ask me on there how to link your account, and you'll get extra perks and free shizzles, as it were. Look the word up if you don't know Snoop Dogg. All right then. So thanks. I'm gonna say Freyok again until you like. If you can tell me how to say it phonetically, I'm on board. Let's not forget that lockdowns are not the most irritating thing, the most pressing thing, or the most, what do you call it, inconveniencing thing. The most inconveniencing thing I can think of is having your mother raped and dismembered in front of your face. But then I'm old-fashioned like that. So let's keep praying for Nigerian Christians, please. And more importantly, actually, let's pray for ISWAP and Boko Haram, because they could do with it. Like, if anyone needs to be disabused of their delusions, their strong delusions, and have their eyes opened and their hearts, changed into those of flesh, it's definitely those dudes. They're on a mission. It's ridiculous. Satan has got like a grip on them that is pretty ironclad, but all things are possible with God. And now I really am going to go, because I'm like one of those ladies who just goes bye-bye, 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 bye-bye. But anyway, all right then, I'll hopefully see you on Discord. And cheers, John. And God bless you all. And yeah, I'll be lecturing this evening or doing a video or both, depending on how much coffee I can get in. But yes, do please pray, and I will see you all very soon. All right, God bless. Bye-bye.